Hello, everyone. I'm Colin Tess of WrestleZone.com, joined by Robert DeFelice tonight to talk about Friday Night SmackDown. Robert, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, Colin. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Been an eventful week, an eventful night tonight alone on SmackDown. Lots to talk about, obviously. Before we do, just want to remind you all this show, like everything we do here, is available on all of our platforms: SoundCloud, Spotify, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. You know where to find us. Please leave a like and subscribe. I don't even know where to start, Robert. I guess we can go with the biggest story of the night. I guess that would kind of make some sense. So obviously, and I guess we can start with some backgrounds. People trickle in here. So as we talk about the Raw show, Sasha Banks and Naomi walked out of Raw on Monday. Very, very controversial thing. All week long, reports have been swirling about that. Rumors, innuendo, conflicting reports, various reports from numerous outlets. Report from WWE's official statement: Banks and Naomi left the titles, the women's tag titles, on the desk of Johnny Ace. And then, there are more reports throughout the week. They're frustrated creatively, but still nothing official. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. And then tonight on SmackDown, Michael Cole said that Banks and Naomi let us all down, quote unquote, let us all down. And and they disappointed all the fans around the world. And they stripped Banks and Naomi of the titles. And there will be a quote unquote future tournament to crown the new champions. So Robert,
I like that you're putting quotes on everything. It's a quote unquote tournament.
No, I quote unquote. The main thing, well, I guess, yeah, maybe a little unintentional there because they don't have enough teams for a tournament. 1, 2, future tournament. Who even knows what that even means? But it's official. Banks and Naomi have been suspended. And this whole thing is continues going to hang over like all of WWE at this point. It's been the talk of the town all week long, and it's just kind of like just a bummer, man.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking to a guy who loves himself. Some Banks. Naomi's great. They continue to get the Raw end of the deal here, and WWE is really throwing them under the bus. Now, all reports, everything said about this says it's not currently a storyline. It's not currently a work. We're not doing this thing where we're saying that they walked out, but really it's all big ploy. No, it seems like they're just really shading Naomi and Banks by being like, they let us all down. They suck, God, they're so unprofessional. It's weird, but they're moving on. And much to my surprise, they're not getting rid of the belts altogether. So yeah, I guess it's a good thing for the women.
There is that. There's just a lot of layers to this thing in the first place. There have been a couple reports, and a former WWE writer himself said this on a podcast the other day, that Naomi, he has heard at least that Naomi and Sasha's contracts are coming up. We're set to come up in a couple months. So
here's a late breaking addition to this. Their merch is off the website.
Ooh.
Banks and Naomi's merch. I just got this tweet. I'm going to check it myself as we speak here. But it appears Sasha Banks and Naomi merch is no longer available on WWEshop.com.
That's pretty spicy. That's great. You said that's a new development as well. Not exactly a good sign in all of this. But the contract thing is interesting because if they walked out, they were not on the show tonight. There's no way to tell when they'll come back. If the contract's coming up, there seems to be a possibility they might just ride it out. I don't know. Obviously, that's nobody knows what's going to happen at this point. DJ says they're not going to fire Naomi because of the bloodline family. No, less the storyline, more so the fact that she was married to Jimmy Uso, and there's that connection there. Herman says that they could add dates to the contracts and/or freeze them if they do sit at home for whoever knows how long. But Robert, I'm kind of curious, just in general, you sound like you're definitely on Sasha and Naomi's side here in general.
So I am of the belief that there are always two sides to a story, right? However, when one entity is going out of its way to throw the other one under a bus and really paint them in a bad lighting, there's more to this than just, hey, they walked out. It kind of feels like, to me, like they might just be a little mad that they didn't get them to do business. Now, yes, is pulling out of the show, hours before, minutes beforehand, or during the show, or whatever. Is it unprofessional? Yes. But they didn't have a lot of time to do otherwise, right? Like they say, oh, they had 8 hours to rehearse the match or whatever in that original statement. But that's 8 hours of like, you didn't tell me over the weekend that, hey, here's what we're doing with you. You kind of blindsided me when we were there and we couldn't come to an agreement. And you told us to fix our attitudes, at which point we just said, peace. Now, look, that's a whole bunch of bits and pieces from a lot of different reports. So maybe one day we'll hear the full truth. Maybe one day something will happen. I don't know. Right now, it doesn't look good. I'll say that.
And I myself, like, I've tried to not really like have much of a strong opinion either way, because as you just said, like, we haven't really heard from Sasha and Naomi themselves. A lot of this has been just rumors and speculation, some reports, but like, nothing even really official. And so there are good outlets out there, obviously, but like I take everything with a grain of salt. So I do hope one day we'll be able to kind of hear it more balanced side of the story, because what we are seeing is more, the WWE side, their statement, everything. Some more thoughts from the viewers here. Michael says, they let us all down, in the words of Michael Cole. Complete burial, at least of how WWE's handling it, saying they did this with the Warrior back in the day, Ultimate Warrior, and saying if they could salvage this, it would be a great heel turn for both women, and there is a way kind of forward potentially. That's something to think about as well. Eddie's saying he repeats Sasha Banks and Naomi. They walked out kind of over. He's saying he repeats how they set up for themselves. Basically, walking out in the middle of the show, despite their contract obligations as performers, the fans pay a lot of money to watch them perform. There's stuff like that side of it as well. It's complicated. There are sides. There are easy ways to kind of understand both sides of it here. And again, that's why I'm trying to kind of be as neutral as I can. But I guess this angle of it is addressing with Grim fans saying, do we think they're going to do anything? Is it not so much, is it a work, but like if they can salvage it and resolve it soon, do you think we're going to get like some kind of angle where like they attack and like turn heel, as we just saw Michael say?
I like that his example is when the Miz and R-Truth attacked everyone at Hell in a Cell. That, buddy, was a work. Maybe the Punk stuff leading up to it was not, and they were able to turn that into something. It wasn't as good as it should have been. I thought that this would lead to Naomi returning as part of the bloodline. Still think it's a possibility, but it's getting more and more murky by the day, right? I think it was Kazim that reported right. Their contracts are coming up supposedly. So maybe this is just it, which would be crazy. Like Sasha Banks just being done, Naomi just being done. But we're gonna have to all wait and see.
It is interesting. Just now, I just saw this now. It was maybe right after WrestleMania. Sasha was on Logan Paul's podcast, and she was talking about like wanting to get into acting and basically kind of like knowing she would have to choose between wrestling and acting at some point.
I believe she said something to the effect of maybe it's going full into acting, maybe it's trying to stick around WWE and continuing to change the game. It was very much like, I realize I'm at a turning point.
Yeah.
What I do next is up to me. And they might have made the decision for her. I mean, listen, Sasha Banks has full-sized Star Wars collectible figurines. Sasha Banks is going to be set up very well if she chooses not to wrestle. That's a full loss for wrestling fans. Losing Sasha and Naomi is a loss for wrestling fans. I hope that we don't see that, but you never know.
Yeah. And then again, the flip side of this here, kind of thinking of the WWE perspective of, or at least as fans, and how it impacts the show. Whenever they do have this tournament for the now vacant titles, they've got 2 teams right now, and I guess they could reunite Carmella and Zelina Vega for the hell of it, but that's 3.
You can unite Dana and Tamina.
Yeah.
You've got Liv, and you can find someone for Liv. Call Sarah Logan, control her narrative. Like
there you go.
You get someone with Rhea. Ed has been tweeting about Paige. Go find someone. Like you can do it. Call up Toxic Attraction. You can do it. I mean, there's options here.
Yeah. But that's a good point.
Or Jade and Roxanne. Just let Team 2001 be a thing. They're having fun with it. I'd have fun watching it. Like, there's ways around this, and there's ways to, if you really want to be petty and vindictive and be like, you see, look at all this stuff we're doing with the women's tag division. You can do that. I just hope that this isn't the end for Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah, I agree. And that's a really good point. Whether it's the tag division or just in general, whether it's in short term and / long term, saying we really need Bayley back now. If Sasha's and Naomi both are gone for now for good ?
If I'm Bayley, I sit and I go, like I stand by Sasha here. Nah, I wish, but Bayley, we need Bayley back like yesterday.
Yeah,
we need.
But then again, that's interesting because obviously they're friends. They're friends, so like you wonder if there are any like ripple effects here potentially. Obviously, nobody knows. I have no idea. I'm gonna say you can't help but kind of think about some of the potential ramifications here. I mean, DJ points out, at least from his perspective, like saying Sasha's always been on good terms with Vince. Then it was reported that she had unfollowed Vince on all social media and blocked him.
Well, she unfollowed everybody. We've been talking about this privately. Like, Sasha Banks is following like Snoop Dogg, a fan account, and I think like maybe one or two other people. Oh, John Cena. John Cena is the person she's following. So she's not following anybody. She's not even following her own husband. Like, so Sasha's really playing it up.
Yeah. So again, very, very complicated, murky. Nobody knows what's going on. I certainly have no idea, but we're just writing it out and taking it as it comes. But at the end of the day, Eddie seems confident they're going to, WWE at least, will settle in a couple of weeks, whether it's trying new champions, moving on, or potentially kind of getting this back, just resolving it somehow and trying to, make it work. I don't know. I hope it works out for the best. That's kind of where I'll leave it. We got a show to talk about. This is part of the show, obviously, but plenty of other stuff to dig into as well. Want to save off on the main event for a little bit because there's some other stuff to talk about. We had a newcomer on SmackDown tonight, Robert. His name formerly was LA Knight. I don't even remember what it was. It was
Max
Dupree. Max Dupree.
Say it right.
Max Dupree.
There you go. You're getting there. I love it. Look, I don't know why they changed it from LA Knight. They own LA Knight. I think Maximilian's modeling management sounds better than Knight model management. So maybe it's that. I hope that we get the face character that we saw. I'm super into that. I like it. It's a way to use people. You have them on the roster, use them. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of LA Knight. I've been wanting to see him on the main roster for quite a while now. Everyone who watches the NXT show knows that. I've been rooting for him to get called up just for feels like months and months now. Maybe not in this role, but he's so charismatic and entertaining. I think he could make it work. I think he can pretty much make anything he's handed work. He's got that kind of just overall entertainment factor, for lack of a better word. Big fan of him. I'm curious to see who he winds up working with. What you mentioned the face character. I think at some live events he was working with Mansoor, I believe.
Mansoor was also on some of the dark segments.
So kind of curious about that.
That's the segment.
Wondering if there's like, I don't know, like not to sound bad, but like if he was working with Mace / Face and Mansoor, like it's not like they put him with like, people that you would inspire you to think, oh, this is going to be a big thing.
Lothario's in there. They could do that.
Okay.
Throw Aaliyah.
Yeah.
Why not? There's many different ways we can go here. So I am very excited.
Nesha agrees, thinks she thinks he'll make it work. She's happy he's on SmackDown. And yeah, DJ, I would imagine we got Dupree / Knight tonight. That would mean I would assume we'll see his clients as soon as maybe next week or so. That would be.
I think Face is a guarantee because it's too good not to be.
Yeah.
And I think Mansoor is hit or miss because maybe they just want him to be Happy Mansoor from Saudi Arabia. So whenever they go over there, he can just be Happy Mansoor from Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for this.
No, I think it could be good. As always, I like things that are new, like at least just to kind of shake it up a little bit, so to give us something new to talk about. DJ says maybe a good fit would be Xia Li. I mean, Xia Li is not doing anything on TV these days, so why not? I think that'd be good. They could use some more depth on the SmackDown Women's division, so I'm all for it.
I'll be honest, if they weren't already champions, but maybe they won't be in a couple weeks. Pretty Deadly screams male models. Pretty
Yes.
Deadly are
Yes.
Fabio 1 and Fabio 2, and I like them a lot. If you don't put them with Night Model Management or Maximilian Modeling Management, you put them with. I want to see them with Tiffany Stratton and Grayson
Yeah.
Waller. I love those guys. They're so much fun. I hope to see them somewhere soon.
You know who else is fun, Robert? Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn was in a very good match tonight against Shinsuke Nakamura. Obviously, anytime you throw those two guys in the ring, it's going to be really good. Since Zayn has become the unofficial stooge for the bloodline lately.
He's Roman Reigns, Stevie Richards, and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I'm liking that storyline. Shinsuke's been kind of roped in as the semi-rival for Roman. They're like circling back to that from like 2 months ago and trying to build it up a little bit. And Shinsuke beat Sami Zayn tonight, so to kind of maybe a little indicator that might be somewhere we go moving forward here. But overall, very good match. Can't complain with that. And I like having good matches, so this is good.
It's fine. I like that Sammy's another guy for people to beat up that isn't the Usos because they really need to look strong.
Yeah.
Good match. I hope Shinsuke gets something worthwhile at a show worthwhile, because the report I think today from Meltzer was Riddle at Money in the Bank, Orton at SummerSlam, and then McIntyre at Clash at the Castle. And that doesn't leave a lot of room for Shinsuke Nakamura.
No. Maybe like the Madison Square Garden show or something. I mean, that's a Raw. I don't even know.
If you do anyone but Cody getting a title shot at the Garden, you're not doing it right.
I would agree. But for Sami here, Nesha says he's the Bloodline's ass kisser. That's what Nakamura called him the ass of the table. And Eddie said Sami's strategy. Sami's great. Sami Zayn is great. Always very, very entertaining. Love that guy. When we'll talk about Butch in a minute. When Butch ran off after the match, Pat McAfee's like, "What, does he have to go poop?" McAfee is amazing. He's just so good on commentary. Pretty solid stretch of defenses or reported defenses there for Roman if those do come to light. I mean, that's pretty good. But no, good match here. Sami's great. Dude says Sami's money. And yeah, Sami's like kind of working his way into the bloodline. I mean, if he won tonight, that'd be one thing. I don't think the bloodline's going to be too thrilled about Sami losing here. But I'm sure.
I think they enjoy somebody else getting beat up for them, though.
Yeah, you can see it. So we'll see how it's going to play out, especially wondering about the timeline of like if they want to do Roman versus Shinsuke on anything but a SmackDown. I'm not sure because you mentioned, Roman's probably not going to be Hell in a Cell. He's not advertised for the show. And those three reported opponents kind of carries them through the summer all the way into September. So don't know about that, but hopefully we'll get to see it at some point because otherwise don't even know what we're doing here.
Do you think he loses? I think if those reports are accurate, I think McIntyre's got a good shot.
Yeah. Definitely not Riddle. Probably not Randy.
That's the unfortunate part is when you get to like, okay, if it's going to be Riddle, you know that you're going into a situation where nobody expects Riddle to win. So,
yeah. I say it's like every week, whoever beats Roman, it has to be like the next guy, or at least like the next face of the show for a while.
So you're saying face will beat?
No, I'm just saying like Riddle. Everyone, people love him, but like I still don't see him at that level necessarily. Randy could see it, but like they've built Roman up so much, I really feel like it has to be like a pretty big thing. For me, Drew McIntyre like isn't quite that, but at least like the Clash of the Castle show, that would make some sense. Not just seemingly picking Drew here as well. I mean, obviously having a win in the UK would be a big deal. The crowd would go crazy. That'd be historic in that sense. Yeah, I could see it. I don't know if it's I wouldn't say I'm not going to sit here and say I'm confident it's going to happen. I'm not going to even predict that. I'm just saying it's a very reasonable and realistic possibility. So I like it. Otherwise, here I'm going to look forward to seeing those matches potentially. But I mean, people seem to get excited about Roman versus Riddle though, even just for the match. I just think it's a dream match, even though Nestor says she's not see Riddle as the champ. And I would agree. It will be a very good match.
I see Riddle as a champ. I don't see him as that champ.
Yeah. I didn't even see him winning. It was the Elimination Chamber back in February. He was reported when the Rumble at one point. Then he was in the Chamber, and for a second, I kind of thought people kind of thought that he might win. I didn't necessarily think so. I just, especially, and even now, a couple months later, still just like, especially beating Roman. At the Chamber, at least it was a Chamber, didn't have to pin.
And it wasn't like, okay, the belts are unified. I
Yeah.
think we were like 3 weeks removed from, okay, Big E's champion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Better times. But I mean, I like these ideas here. Riddle versus Roman could be a very good match. Roman versus Randy is going to be very, very good. And then at least we got the big fight feel for the Drew McIntyre thing. So wait and see. I totally forgot about this part. So DJ wonders what they're doing with Happy Corbin. Says they're ruining him. Happy Corbin
they're ruining him now. I mean, I think they ruined him back when they named him Happy. This was fine. He smashed the trophy. Whatever. I don't care.
Do you think that was disrespectful? Because this is the Andre the Giant trophy? Not just the point is that it's disrespectful. I mean, do you think it crossed the line?
Do I think it crossed the line? No, it's not like. It's not. Let me put it to you this way. I've seen them cross the line. Crossing the line was when, Eddie Guerrero died, and then like 8 days later, they had Randy driving a lowrider into flames. Like, that's a line. Andre was gone long before you were even alive. I think he's gone before I was alive, but not by much. It's like. So I don't think it's disrespectful. Fair
enough. Definitely a big heel move to destroy not only just the trophy, but the trophy that Madcap Moss won. He took out Madcap Moss with an attack last week. Madcap not cited tonight, so he's on the shelf for now. But basically, Happy Corbin said he's never been happier. He removed Madcap Moss from WWE. He's rich. He said he's handsome. And he said, I might be the big bad wolf, but I huffed and I puffed and I put Madcap in an ambulance.
Okay.
But he dead ass said that back in.
I know that he did. I watched it, but it's like he's so much better than this. Baron Corbin should be imposing. He should be like an Andre. He should be like an Undertaker, and he's just happy.
Happy. I still like broke ass Corbin. I will always look back to that because that was a pretty fun run for him there. As we've been talking about this for a while now. Eddie's saying at least he's maybe hoping Madcap Moss will get repackaged to a more serious name. I mean, I hope so. I think having him be quote unquote injured.
Riddick Moss,
why not? Keep the last name, just change his first name. They do this stuff all the time. Why not? And being on the shelf with this, injury, you come back, just go by a new name now. I don't know. Ideally, a new attire as well. But hopefully, this feud will be wrapping up at some point, not too far from now, because it's time to have these guys move on to other things. This is they're keeping it going, and hopefully maybe they'll have a match at Hell in a Cell or something. But not necessarily looking forward to that match being over. Also looking forward to a match they set up tonight: Gunther versus Ricochet.
Yeah.
If they give that match time, that could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I don't care about time. They're gonna give Gunther the Intercontinental title.
Yeah,
and I like that.
That's cool. So Gunther, as you might expect,
and then he should trash it and rechristen the European title.
Drew McIntyre said he wants them to bring it back just so he
hold on, let me back up, because not that I would ever actually want to see the IC title trashed, but why not? You haven't done anything with that belt.
It's a shame. It's such a prestigious title.
Something different.
I like to hope. Maybe I'm too hopeful sometimes. A guy like Gunther, I could see him having a nice dominant run with the title, maybe boosting up a little bit. I hoped Ricochet would do more with it. Unfortunately, that's no fault of his own. They haven't really given him the chance to do that. But Gunther defeated Drew Gulak tonight. DJ says, can't forget the squash tonight with the PowerPoint presenter on SmackDown, Drew Gulak. And then Ricochet made the save afterwards. Obviously, he gave Gulak some advice last week to kind of build a little bit of a bond there. Ricochet made the save, set up a little match here. So at least a vague kind of teaser for the potential match there. And I would assume that Gunther could very well win that when it happens. He says, imagine the sight of Ricochet selling the chop. I mean, Gunther chops like nobody's business. And Ricochet is great in the ring, great at selling. So I'm here for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. And hopefully, I would imagine that we just saw this tonight. I would imagine that would happen well before Clash at the Castle. So then you could have Gunther at Clash at the Castle in some kind of title match.
All for it.
Yeah.
Definitely all for it.
And thinking of maybe Ricochet getting chopped, Eddie's saying poor Ricochet's chest. I mean, we can even just think of it now, just a beat red chest there. But otherwise, here, I mean, it was not much to really report. Obviously, in the main event, they really hyped up the main event. Numerous interviews, several interviews.
Oh,
video
hold on.
packages.
I mean, just to say that we talked about it, Raquel
Oh,
Rodriguez did
yeah.
have a match with Shotzi.
Yeah,
Thank God
Shotzi
Shotzi
called
was on
her.
TV.
Shotzi called her an absurd Amazon. Pretty
Yeah.
heated promo there. I thought that was cool. You know, this came after last week when Raquel answered Ronda Rousey's challenge for the SmackDown title. When Shotzi locked Aaliyah in a room, and then apparently Raquel shoved Shotzi in the hallway to make sure she got the shot. So then both Aaliyah and Shotzi were so upset about that. And then Raquel comes up, and Shotzi said, you don't have you're too nice, which is true. She smiles all the time. She says, you don't have what it takes to capitalize on all your tools. You're an absurd Amazon. And now, I think she said, you're useless, and I'm going to prove it to you in the ring. Really good match. Good to have Shotzi on TV. They've really, not done a whole lot with her either, at least recently. But another good win for Raquel Rodriguez. And, she's becoming one of the more promising stars on SmackDown of the newcomers. So it's good. I'm excited. I'm hopeful. I'm away to saw her face Rousey, so I'm not exactly sure where they go from here. But glad she's on SmackDown. Glad she's picking up wins. Can't really complain with that.
Right. I think she should be in for a big run for Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I like the idea as well. Could definitely be like a dark horse favorite. She's still very new to the brand, but that could be like an upset. So that'd be cool. Also forgot about this. Yes, Xavier Woods faced Butch tonight. Butch, the as he's been called a couple times, the rabid wildebeest. This feud is never ending. Started on the road to WrestleMania, and it's still going.
Next week. It sounds to me like Xavier Woods is ready to make it end next week, because that sounded pretty final, even though they're just still sad they can't have E, but they did say Kofi would be back, and Woods has a special guy in mind for a 6-man.
Now who could that be? I have no idea. Like you don't have Big E, so I'm like I really don't know.
I might be reaching, and this is just a guess, so we're having fun here. What about Cesaro?
I like to see it.
Cesaro's just sort of chilling in his house. He's not taking any bookings.
Oh, well, Eddie Zahari? It's gonna be Drew McIntyre. Like it's not gonna be somebody fun, like new or fun or exciting.
You know what though?
It's not.
Good for Eddie Zahari for just
Oh man, I overlooked that big time.
Numbers here.
It's gonna be.
I'm trying to have fun and think. I don't know. Woods friends with Cesaro. Like maybe that could be a fun thing. Yeah, it'll be Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, Drew was in Cardiff promoting Clash at the Castle, so he was not on the show at night. So he slipped my brain just enough
and
so
then
that I was.
It gives us another 3 weeks of just British dudes that like to beat each other up. I'm good with that.
Yeah, it's fine. Now I'm thinking about Cesaro. With someone like him, I want him to be on TV, but WWE just missed the boat on him so much. Like I don't really exactly want him to go back. Because I wouldn't exactly be confident that it would go any differently, because that's where we're at these days. He's just that talented, but they clearly don't exactly see him at that level, unfortunately. Even to the level of because consistently putting him on TV. Like the end of his WWE run before he left, he was barely on TV, barely really doing much. He was teaming with Ricochet kind of, but like nothing really substantial. DJ says, well, if it's not McIntyre, if we want to get into the speculation game a little bit.
It's not McIntyre. My main guy would still be Cesaro. I thought about Shinsuke, just someone that's there.
I would like it to be somebody fun, like not just like someone that's on the show. Like,
and then that's not saying McIntyre isn't fun, but it's like,
you know what I mean.
Why didn't you help them already then?
Yeah.
If you're here and you want to, why didn't you help them? And
other than a show like this week where he was off in Cardiff doing the promo work for Clash at the Castle, he's like on the show every week. So like it's if they don't set up as a mystery thing, set up as like, oh, Drew McIntyre returns next week to team up with them, like not to knock them for you know what I mean. I don't know. Cesaro would be fun. If we want to get crazy, maybe they'd bring like in Tyler Breeze for like a one-off. Remember when they brought back Heath Slater for like the one show of Drew McIntyre back in the pandemic, middle of the pandemic, back in that was performance night in the Thunderdome. Goodness gracious!
Oh yeah, that wasn't even the Thunderdome. That was just Heath Slater with Dolph Ziggler coming out to no noise.
Wild times. Eddie says Drew's the only one not involved in a big feud right now. Obviously, he's feuded with Sheamus before. It makes so much sense. That's probably what's going to happen. Next could be Madcap. Maybe, but
well, if Madcap comes back and does anything but tries to kill Baron Corbin, we're doing it wrong.
Yeah. So probably Drew. But if DJ says, what about somebody from NXT?
Who would I bring up from NXT
for the spot?
I mean, listen, I'm knocking on Braun Breaker's door, like, hey, come and hurt these guys. You know, it'll be fun. It'll be really fun. McAfee.
Ooh, that'd be
like,
fun.
You know, McAfee's got some history with Ridge.
Yeah.
I think it'd be fun. I'm much more into fun than just, hey, McIntyre's here and he's got a sword. Hey, Butch is running right toward the sword. What is he doing?
I like the McAfee idea. I don't know who I'd bring from NXT other than like Braun Breaker would make sense, getting some support for that idea. The weird thing, and not weird, it makes sense. Like Raw and NXT usually cross over somewhat because of the USA connection. We don't usually see NXT like cameos on Raw because not that link. So like there's usually call ups, but not like just cameos, if you will. So I do feel like I don't know if I exactly hope. I can hope. I don't know if I would realistically think it's going to be someone from NXT. Eddie says maybe it'll be Mansoor.
Again, I mean, like I want fun here.
Yeah, but I got a feeling it's going to be McIntyre, which is fine. Drew's great. I'm just saying, like, not the most fresh.
I feel like the last thing he did was lose a 6-man, though.
Right around.
You really want to bring him like?
Robert, you're being too logical.
I know. I'm thinking too hard about it. I'm sorry.
Well, I was thinking too hard about the main event, as many of people were. So we were going to get the tag team title unification match for the main event here, and they're hyping it up all show long, promos, video packages, interviews, whatever, hyping it up so much that I was like, they're going to hype it up so much and do a DQ just for kicks and giggles, or they're going to hype it up so much and actually give us a clean match. But like I had this sinking feeling in my gut, like just knowing what they do, they're going to, we talked about this last week, we were like, they're going to do a DQ, they're going to draw up to Hell in a Cell, and just that's what they do. And Robert,
I did think that up until about the third promo package where I was like, they're building this up too seriously to go, haha, DQ. Like, at the end of that, I realized, okay, they're doing something for real. Like, I thought, they would do a DQ Hell in a Cell, but once I saw everything that they laid out for it, I was like, yeah, this is probably just happening here.
So you don't think there's not going to be a rematch like at Hell in a Cell?
No. Riddle's got a bruised hip. Match.
Yeah.
Like, so I think he'll just be injured for a while.
I'm not sure what the timeline is for that, but that's a bummer. Obviously.
I mean, he'll be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And come back and feud with Roman, then can pave the way for Randy to do it.
Should mention the Bloodline pretty brutally beat down RK-Bro after the match, so that would kind of set that up so that they could be gone for a couple of weeks, however long needed. But no, I was just very, very pleasantly surprised that we got an actual clean finish here. It was a very good match. The Bloodline now has all the gold. And yeah, Nesha agreeing that many people probably expected a DQ or something here so they could have drawn out a little bit. But no, Roman got, it's a little wonky. Roman Reigns interfered, but we got a clean pinfall. We got a clean winner. And we have a set of unified tag team champions. So my next question would be then, like, especially with RK-Bro being, out of commission a little bit or shifting into feuding with Roman, who might be next for the Usos here?
That's a silly question. It's the New Day.
They just did that.
Yeah, but did that? Well, who cares?
I do.
If it ain't broke, you don't fix these things, okay? Like, they're the two best tag teams. All right, because let's dissect this. Actually, no, I take that back. It's not the New Day. Street Profits are gonna be pissed because they have been talking for 3 months about how they want a title shot. So it'll probably be the Profits, and whoever gets out of that feud, it'll be the New Day.
Okay, that would make sense at least. Yeah, Street Profits have been rallying for that, trying to get a title shot, trying trying to be the unified champions here for a while. Once the match happened, and it hadn't happened yet. Now that it has, it would make a lot of sense to actually do that. I would like that. Maybe that's the Hell in a Cell match. Eddie's saying they'll do the rematch for Viking Brown Usos for Hell in a Cell, but instead, what if they do? I would hope they would have a tag team title match on the Cell, and that would make sense for one, and would be a good match for
They
two.
could do a rematch if they really need, like, all right, let's stretch that out a bit, because you've got. Otherwise, I'd go Street Profits, maybe New Day, maybe Mysterios, but I'd be looking at getting the belts on a babyface so that we can have, the Bloody Brutes, or what do they call them? They didn't go with Bloody Brutes. They went with the Brawling Brutes. Hold on. The Brawling Brutes is what they went with. I'd like Sheamus and Butch. Like, that's a fun team.
Yeah.
I'd watch that. Yeah, you compare Cody with someone.
They're not going to slap Cody.
You know what? Honest to God, Edge needs a belt. Okay. I don't want to hear that he doesn't. He needs a belt. Damian Priest, Edge. I like that pairing. Or maybe you get someone else to team with Priest. You never know.
Yeah. You got plenty of options. Ideally, adding some more teams here would be good, because now, I mean, they unified the titles, so like in theory that helps the lack of depth. But
so it goes from like having 2 teams on each show to having like maybe 6 teams altogether.
Yeah, which is they've had worse.
Still sad, but better.
Yeah, so kind of better. But no, I like those options. I like the idea of the Street Profits facing the Usos. DJ says it's time to turn the Street Profits heel. I mean, with the Usos just winning the titles, I don't necessarily see that anytime, like, and at least in the short-term future. They've been kind of teasing that for a little bit. And I would agree they could use some kind of like freshening up a little bit. I think they could be good heels potentially. But no, now having the Usos as the heel champions right now, I would imagine they're going to keep the Profits as maybe a little more edgy / aggressive heel, but nothing too drastic. But Eddie likes the idea of Priest and Ciampa if we get Ciampa, that's been teased, but not officially.
I'd be all for it. I'd be all for, you got Aziz and Apollo there. Make them a team. Do something with them. Austin Theory in mid, AJ Styles, Finn Balor. Honestly, that's a good use of AJ Styles and Finn Balor.
Yeah, I'm all for that. These are all just matches. Like, not saying who's going to be the next champions. These are all just good matches and good ways to kind of have the Usos, elevate the titles, ideally.
MVP and Omos.
There you go. Maybe.
You have options.
They do. It's good. And again, ironically, it's weird. We've been wanting to see this for so long now. And finally did it. It's like, kind of just like sit back and be like, all right, like mission accomplished.
Yeah, cool. Because I've been pitching this for a while.
Yeah.
And everybody's told me, well, what, you want things to matter less? It's like, no, I want things to matter more.
Yeah.
And if there's less participation trophies, more people got to fight.
Right. That's basic logic. Nash wants to see AJ and Finn get the belts. I think it's safe to say the Usos are going to be the champions for a little while, however long it might be. I will say I don't see them losing the titles before SummerSlam. I think they're going to have like a nice run with the titles here. And then you mentioned earlier, maybe Reigns losing at Clash of the Castle. Maybe the bloodline crumbles by then with Usos losing as well.
You know what, though? If you do it at Clash of the Castle, just for the fun of it, I don't know if the South Wales subculture are still a thing in NXT UK. I know you got Mustache Mountain. I'm going, gotta give it to your hometown heroes.
I mean, Butch he did an interview, and one of the highlights was that he said he wanted to have NXT UK guys compete at the NXT at the UK show, which makes sense. So hopefully, even if it's not people getting called up for it, or like not getting called up ahead of it, just having some like special, NXT UK guys there, just doing some, intrapromotional matches or something, just to promote it a little bit. I like the idea. I'm hopeful that at least we'll get that. Or, man, why not? That'll be a fresh matchup. I'm not complaining about that. I am not complaining about getting the Usos versus New Day again. We've seen a lot. We haven't seen that match yet, so that's a good option as well. Talking about Finn Balor here, Eddie says that Finn only needs a tag team title and become a Grand Slam champion.
That's insane.
Pretty crazy there. Then maybe we'll see that happen at some point. But it's interesting because now the Bloodline has all the gold, so now the big story becomes, how is it all going to unfold? Like how long can they be the dynasty?
Till at least WrestleMania.
Oh, like collectively? You think they're going
to keep... well, just as a whole, because I think that even though you could switch it to McIntyre, I think Reigns goes to maybe Rumble as champion before losing it, and then he can face The Rock at WrestleMania with no titles on the line, because they don't need it. Because if you put the titles on the line, it's a dead giveaway that Roman's going to win.
Right.
And I don't know if people want that.
No, I very much in that camp as well. And lastly here, DJ wondering, the Orton is still on Raw. He says, do we think they're going to still show up on SmackDown, or do we think they're going to split up now that they lost? I mean, if they're supposedly going to be facing Roman in singles matches, maybe there's something to that of like someone cost someone else in a match, or there's some that plays into the tension and they split from there. It's interesting. I thought they were going to do the split and have the singles match at like SummerSlam or something. But if they do, the reported plan, that would be Roman versus Randy at SummerSlam. So I would assume they wouldn't split before that necessarily.
I'm beginning to think maybe they don't split. Maybe they can go their separate ways amicably, and then you can always fall back on that.
That's fair. Just remain friends, but decide to go off on your own interests. We don't always have to have a violent breakup. It's that the life works that way sometimes. It's good.
Yeah.
I like the idea to be. I like when WWE does things they're a little like
a little off the beaten path.
Yes.
Honestly, when it comes to WWE, that path is long beaten.
Yes, it is. So that said, an eventful show. Some things kind of hang over it a little bit, the Sasha and Naomi thing, namely, but a very good main event. They actually delivered a conclusive result, so I was happy about that.
Thank God they were able to deliver the main event as advertised.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord. I say, I think, credit to Riddle, Randy, and the Usos for not letting us all down.
Like some people around here.
Like some people. Oh. How rude of some people.
To clarify, I think
if you can't see the laugh on the smile on my face and the laughter in my voice, I got nothing for you. Obviously, they're being ridiculous towards Sasha and Naomi.
Yeah. Well, that's all that said. Trying to say the president enjoyed the show. What do you think about SmackDown tonight, Robert?
Oh, it was a pretty good show. It was a solid 7.5. Like it was good.
Go for like a 7.3. 7.3 is pretty fair. That's pretty high for
solid show.
Yeah, not bad at all. Then it's on to the next one. Got plenty of stuff here cooking. We've got a very eventful stretch coming up. We got Double or Nothing next weekend. We got several shows in June. We got Hell in a Cell.
Probably not doing the show next week because GCW is Downward Spiral.
Oh, wait, no, is it? No, the Downward Spiral is Saturday. It might be
all right. See, that's why we're here. We're a team.
Potentially, but with Rampage being live, we'll see. Stay tuned. We haven't decided officially yet. The things being so hectic sometimes, we do our best, but sometimes the wrestling schedule, it can be pretty crazy. So, like I was saying, we got Hell in a Cell in June. We got multiple other shows constantly. That's even outside the usual.
Yeah, in your house, we got World Entertainment Series.
Oh yeah,
a wrestling entertainment series. I mean, my God, look at that card.
Crazy. Anna, Nia Jax,
Alistair Overeem. For some reason,
Roman as well. Yeah, it's crazy stuff. And that's like way. That's in the section of like other. That's not like could wind up being a big promotion. Who even knows? That's one of many things. Especially keep an eye on. So as always, we'll help you. If you don't watch it, we'll have the results. We'll have coverage of it as best we can. But again, that's beyond the weekly schedule. We're here on Raw, myself and John Clark on Mondays. John and I here on Tuesdays for NXT 2.0. Two Dynamite Dudes on Rampage Markets. Dominic cover all things AEW. Otherwise, we have a great stream of interviews counseling on you guys. Bill Pritchard recently interviewed the Nature Boy Ric Flair, which is crazy. Like, say what you will about Ric Flair, but like that's awesome.
Good.
Like
good for Bill.
We got great stuff cooking over here, and we got lots of exciting stuff in the pipeline as well. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe. We appreciate it. Robert, do you want to do as you do?
I do. Please follow me everywhere at DeFelice. You know, please. Like I'm working hard in the world of wrestling media. I always appreciate the follows and the love. Specifically twitch.tv/DeFelice. I'm like so close to being affiliate. Maybe by the end of the weekend.
That's
Who
exciting.
knows? Who really knows? Follow me everywhere. Check out Fightful.com. Check out Fightful Select. Sean Ross Sapp working overtime as he typically does to provide the most up-to-date scoops. And then, you know, WrestleZone helps out. We're all one big happy family, despite what you may hear. And I don't know, I'm all for having a fun June of wrestling. Because you know what we do, Colin? We enjoy wrestling.
Indeed. Thanks for listening, everybody.